Hi everyone, today we're back doing some Resincrete making, and this is with their Christmas box. So this will have all different Christmas molds inside, and it also comes with, well, it comes with everything you need really apart from the water. So you'll have your resin and all of your Christmas molds. So let's have a look at what is inside. If you haven't seen this product before, please go to my previous video, which I'll link in the description, because that explains the ins and outs of what Resincrete is. And I'm going to skip that for this because I've already said it in a previous video. So go ahead and watch that if you're not sure what it is that we're playing with. So basically it's a bit like a plaster of Paris, or yeah, like a plaster of Paris really. It is powder that you add water to and you fill a mould, and then it will set and it will go hard and you can take it out of the mould and you've got like an instant creation. Well, I say instant, it takes half an hour, which is really, really quick. So with the other box, I think we were given 1 kilo of the Resincrete powder, I'm pretty sure. Now we've got 600 grams with this, so not as much powder as the last project. We've also got 2 cups, and these ones are better because they have markings on the side. Let's see what it says. Paint, hardener and thinner. Well, I don't think we really use thinner, but anyway, I'll probably just weigh them because I know what I'm doing with that. So we've got the 2 measuring cups. Then we've got the spatula, which we had in the other set, and this will be really good for mixing our Resincrete. And let's have a look at some of the moulds. Okay, so we've got quite a few moulds in this one, more definitely than we had in the first box. Now this one is a Santa Claus. I don't know what you could use it for, maybe a little ornament, or you could put a hole in it and hang it on the tree, but it is quite a shallow mould, so I can't see it being very heavy. Then we have a snowman. So you would pour in your mixture, leave it to set upside down like that, and when we take it out we should have a cute little snowman. We have got, I think this must be a little trinket tray with a Christmas tree and stars inlaid. We've got another one like the snowman, but this one is a Christmas tree, so this one should work exactly the same. These are really annoying to peel away though. I think last time I had a few breakages, but fingers crossed that won't happen again. We've got this one, which I'm not entirely sure what that is, so I think we're going to have to look through the notes that come in the box to see. And then we've got these little ornament decorations. You can see they've already got a little hole part of the mould where you'll be able to thread something through and hang them on your Christmas tree. And then this, I think this must be a little paint mixing dish. It's made of plastic. But again, we'll look in the notes and see. We've got paint and we've got some paint brushes. So we'll see what the quality is like of those brushes, if we indeed want to paint them. I think we should though. Now here are the notes. So, mixing, yes, we know all about how to do that. And then you can paint them. Okay, so we've got to wait about a day to paint them. They have to be completely dry. I know I said they were dry in 30 minutes, which is true, but to be completely cured and set, I think you should leave it about a day. Then it's got some colour matching suggestions, which is really handy. So we know how to make different colours out of the small amount of paints that we've got. We've got the mix ratio. So as we know from before, we need 300 grams of Resincrete to 90 mils of water. I think that was the one that we used last time. I think so. Adding pigments as well. So do we have any pigments in the box? No, we don't. So last time we had little bottles of pigment. This time they've given us paints to paint the finished product with. So I don't think it tells us what this one is for. I'm probably missing something really obvious. Let's have a look. Does it say on the box? I haven't got any photos of anything made up, so I'm really puzzled by that. It's probably something super obvious, but I just can't think what it would be. So ideas in the comments. Right, so let's get mixing. Let's just get straight into it. So I've got my old battered scales here, and I've got some water, and we need to open our Resincrete. It's not in a resealable packet this time, but it is 300 grams. So we'll use the whole of this with 90 ml of water. And I guess that means that we don't need the scales actually. We'll just do this whole bag with 90 ml of water. Yeah, that's fine then. Don't need to do any weighing. So we'll get this open and then start doing our mixing. Okay, so using these wider measuring cups, which are actually a lot better than the ones we had in the previous box. They were quite narrow. We'll pour all of the mixture in. Well, the powder first. We'll make it into a mixture. Gosh, that is a lot of powder. It fills the cup up almost to the top. So I'm hoping we'll have room for 90 mils of water. Now what I need to do is figure out, hang on a second, let's get the second cup. Hopefully this will have mils on it. Yes, it does. So I need to fill it to there, just under the 100 mark. So I'll do that with my jug. And hopefully that'll be right. Just put a little bit more, or a little bit less rather. Is that 90 mils? I think so. I think we're just about there. So we are going to do these as solid white Resincrete creations, and then we'll paint them afterwards, whereas before I did use pigment to dye the mixture before we poured it into the moulds. But I just want to decide what mould I'm going to do, or moulds first, because I know that we don't have a lot of working time once we add the water. So what do you think would be best? I think we should do the Santa, because that would be quite nice to paint. It's a flat surface. I think we should do these as well. Let's see how much I get out of it. And we also have the second pack anyway that we can play with. So I'm going to do these ones. And let's add the water then. So here goes. Oh my goodness. Okay, we've got all the water in there now. It is very full. So I'm like super nervous about mixing it, but I've just got to be careful. It does give you, what does it say? It says 8 minutes to mix it, or at least, is it 8 minutes from start to finish? I don't know. I remember from last time we had to go fairly fast though. So I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible. You can see that the volume has decreased now in the cup as we've added the water and the pigment has started to dissolve. So that's good. It's just that initial period when you add everything in together, it seems to almost overflow. So we've got a nice bit of room to play with now. So I'm just using the bottom of the spatula to go all the way around the bottom of the mixing cup and make sure that we don't have any powder that's bulking together. Just get it really, really nice and smooth. I reckon it said on the other video to mix for about 1 to 2 minutes. I can't even remember what I myself said, and that was only a few weeks ago. But that's my brain. One thing goes in and another thing must leave to make room. I don't have the capacity. I'll tell you what else would be nice is if these mixing cups had a little spout to pour a bit better with. I think that would really help. This is feeling super nice now. Really good consistency, nice and fluid. The thing about Resincrete is you can't properly describe how a finished product feels in your hands. You have to feel it for yourself. It is the smoothest thing you've ever felt in your life. It's almost like you're not touching anything. That's such a weird description, but it is so smooth. I can't stop like stroking it. It's crazy, but it's beautifully smooth. I mean, even with resin, it can feel a little bit stuttery and a bit sticky if you're putting your hands over it. But this, it almost feels like glass. Anyway, I'm thinking of a word, but this is going harder as I'm doing that. There's no resistance to it. It's just so smooth. I think that is pretty much mixed now. So let's start to pour before it begins to set. So I'll pop my little palette knife to one side and get my moulds ready, and then we will start to pour. So these look like they are in separate moulds, which of course they would be. So, oh my goodness, going too fast. That one's going to be a bit funny because it's totally overflowed, but hopefully we'll be able to just chip that little bit off. It really is so liquidy and so fluid. it's surprising how fast it comes out. I just want to make sure we've got these little areas properly filled in as well. Oh my gosh, this is what I mean, the spout would really help, or at least it would help me a lot. Oh, here comes Rosie. A little bit more. Oh yeah, we definitely need mixing cups with the spout. So JDiction, if you are listening, please can you adjust your design? Okay, so obviously a lot of these have gone over the mold, but that's okay. It should still turn out all right. And I don't think this surface that I'm on is a completely flat surface, if I'm honest. There's lots of little bumps in it because I've spilled water on this card before. So really you should be working on a very flat surface. I'm going to do this one over here, and this is a little bit flatter. So hopefully it will work a bit better. It's like, it's just so fluid. You don't get the chance to sort of pull back before it's full. You've got to take it super steady. But it's good that it's so fluid because it gets into those nooks and crannies and you don't have to worry about air bubbles and things like that. You can see they're so totally smooth. There's no bubbles in them as yet. Now we still have mixture left, so I'm going to go for this little Christmas tree tray and hope that we have got enough to fill it, which looks like we have. Again, it's not on a perfectly flat surface, so I'm just going to try and move it across. Let's put these out of the way. Let's try and get it a little bit flatter. I'm never ever prepared for these things. I really should be a bit more organised. We do have a little bit of mixture left, but it's not going to be enough to go in any of the moulds. So I think I'm just gonna use that as wastage. So I'm going to go and clean out my cup and get everything ready for the next round of moulds, and then we'll come back when they're all set and we will demould them together. So I was just mixing in some more Resincrete for the rest of the moulds and disaster struck. So after that disaster with the spillage, I just about managed to refill the mould, and we didn't have enough left to do the stands, which is what I figured out they are for the Santa Claus. So anywho, we carried on with painting this one with the paints that we got inside the box, and I also used a gold Posca pen just to get into those very fine areas in the middle of the tree, so where the garlands or the tinsel are wrapped around the tree. And as you can see, I'm doing that now. But I did have to touch it up with a little bit of green. I wanted everything to be as perfect as possible, and I really hated the way that I did the holly leaves, so I do go back in and give that a little bit of a touch up later. But now I'm using Imagination Crafts paint. It is, I think it's the colour Diamond, and it's just really sparkly and shiny, and it had a couple of coats of that because it isn't as opaque as you need it to be at first. So I did a little gold star with a gold marker pen, and then went off screen yet again. Absolutely terrible. Added a little bit of glitter with a dry brush, and there we go. So that's how it looks, beautifully shiny, and I did touch up those holly leaves, as you can see. So that one was really fun to do with mostly the art materials that came in the box, but I thought that for the rest I would use other things that I have, so more of the sparkly paint and things like that. So the first thing that I did was this larger tree, so you can see how much larger it is to the bauble thingy. And I just finished that off in some gold. The paint that I used was Imagination Crafts Starlight Metallic Paint in rich gold, and it's really nice paint. I've got it in all different colours, and as you can see, it just really sparkles and shines. So you can see there are some chips on the stars here. Couldn't really do anything about that, but I think the finished product turned out quite nice. Then I have the rest of the little baubles. So the first one I'll show you is, oh, I've got paint on me. It's bound to happen. The first one I'll show you is this. So did this with these Artex acrylic markers. So they're like brush tip pens that have acrylic paint in them, and you can get into all details, and they're also easy for you to sit on the settee and colour while you're watching telly, because you can't really do that with paints. So that's that one. Then I put some more of that gold paint on these bells, and I left the background white because I liked how kind of crisp it looks and how the contrast is. And I've got a little Santa in the snow, again adding white pen for lots of little snow dots. Then we have the snowman, and on this one I layered some blue and some white so it looked like a little bit of shading on the snowman. For this one, put a little bit of silver on the present, but just use the Artex markers for the rest. And finally, we've got a little gingerbread man. Really love him. I love the background as well. I think the background set them off really nicely. Then we had the flat plate Santa, which has a stand, but I didn't realise what it was. So again, very simply coloured this with red and green and black, and then added some diamond shine from the Imagination Craft paints on there. What else do we have? Oh, the snowman. So this is the big fat snowman mould that we did, and again kept it nice and simple. I could probably put some patterns on the hat or the scarf, but I kept it simple, and I've painted his little bell in gold paint as well, just to set it off a little bit. And finally, we've got the Christmas tree, which isn't quite dry and I haven't done the base, but again, I used the Imagination Craft paints for this. So it's really super shiny and sparkly. And yeah, I had so much fun doing it. It was a nice, relaxing, therapeutic activity. So thank you very much for watching this slight disaster of a video, but I think we got some good pieces out of it in the end. If you want to get yourself some Resincrete, you can click on the links in the description and go and have a look at what they've got. This particular Christmas set is only available in the US on Amazon at the moment, but hopefully that will change soon. So let me know what you thought, and Merry Christmas. I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.